Justice is nothing but the advantage of the stronger. The good is always the advantage of the stronger. The just is the same everywhere and is not at all dependent on a particular individual. Those who are in power create the rules of justice, and they do so in order to benefit themselves. The powerful dictate what is just, and the weak must obey. Justice is a human invention that benefits those in power. The law is made by the powerful for their own benefit, not for the benefit of society. The only reason people obey the law is because they are forced to do so by those in power. The only way to achieve justice is to seize power and make the rules yourself. Morality is nothing but the mask that the powerful wear to disguise their self-interest. Morality is simply a tool that the powerful use to control the weak. The only true morality is the morality of power. The strong do what they will, and the weak suffer what they must. The weak have no right to complain about the actions of the strong. Those who have the power to do what they want are the only ones who are truly free. Freedom is the ability to do what you want, regardless of what others may think or say. The only limit to freedom is the limit of your own power. The only true equality is the equality of power. Inequality is natural and inevitable, and attempts to create equality will only result in tyranny. The only way to achieve true equality is to eliminate all differences in power. The only way to eliminate differences in power is through violent revolution. The strong have no obligation to help the weak. Compassion is weakness, and weakness is not to be admired. Only the strong deserve to survive and thrive. The weak exist only to serve the strong. The only way to achieve greatness is to dominate others. Pleasure is the only good, and pain is the only evil. The pursuit of pleasure is the only purpose of life. Those who deny themselves pleasure are fools. The only way to be truly happy is to satisfy your desires, no matter the cost. The good life is the life of the powerful. The only way to live a good life is to have power over others. Happiness is not found in virtue, but in power. Those who are virtuous are only so because they lack the power to do otherwise. Virtue is a luxury that only the weak can afford. Virtue is a form of self-denial, and self-denial is weakness. The only true virtue is the virtue of power. Strength is the only virtue that matters. Those who are weak have no right to judge those who are strong. The only way to judge the actions of others is to consider the interests of the powerful. The only way to achieve greatness is to be ruthless. Those who show mercy are weak, and weakness is not to be admired. The only way to win is to crush your enemies and make them fear you. Those who are feared are more successful than those who are loved. To be loved is to be weak. The only way to gain respect is through fear. The only way to achieve greatness is to be willing to do whatever it takes. Those who hesitate are lost. The only way to succeed is to take risks. Fortune favors the bold. Success is the result of seizing opportunities and taking risks. Those who play it safe will never achieve greatness. The only way to achieve anything is to be selfish. Altruism is a delusion that weak people cling to. Those who help others are only doing so to make themselves feel good. The only true altruism is the altruism of power. The only way to be truly happy is to be powerful. Power is the only thing that can satisfy the human desire for happiness. The weak will always be oppressed by the strong. The only way to avoid oppression is to become strong yourself. The only way to achieve freedom is through power. Those who claim to fight for freedom are only seeking to replace one form of oppression with another. The only way to achieve true freedom is to have power over others. The only way to achieve greatness is to have the courage to stand alone. Those who follow the crowd will never achieve anything. The only way to lead is to be willing to go against the crowd. Leadership is about taking risks and making unpopular decisions. Those who are afraid to lead are not fit to lead. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to fail. Failure is not a weakness, but a necessary step on the path to success. Those who fear failure will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve greatness is to be willing to sacrifice everything. Those who are not willing to make sacrifices are not fit for greatness. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to work harder than anyone else. Those who are not willing to work hard will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve success is to have a clear goal and a plan to achieve it. Those who have no goals or plans are destined to fail. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to learn from your mistakes. Those who do not learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat them. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to learn from others. Those who think they know everything will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to adapt to changing circumstances. Those who are not willing to adapt will be left behind. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to take criticism and use it to improve. Those who cannot handle criticism are not fit for greatness. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to take action. Those who wait for opportunities will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to persevere through hardship. Those who give up easily will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to confront your fears. Fear is a powerful motivator. Those who can control their fear can achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to have self-discipline. Those who lack self-discipline will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to take responsibility for your actions. Those who blame others for their failures will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to make difficult decisions. Those who avoid making difficult decisions will never achieve anything. The only way to achieve anything is to be willing to challenge the status quo. Those who accept the status quo will never achieve anything.